Hey, Guitar Nerd is here with another guide for Elden Ring, specifically on how to get overpowered early on for intelligence builds. So this guide can be very useful for Prisoner and Astrologer classes, but it can also help anyone who wants to respec their stats later on to try out sorcery magic at all too. By the end of this video, you'll be equipped with all the knowledge you need to become overpowered enough to even defeat Godric the Grafted on your first try. If you don't believe me, then see for yourself. I actually beat him in less than 2 minutes too. With that said, I would like to state that no one should feel guilty for trying to make their gameplay easier. If you don't necessarily like challenging gameplay and would rather explore the beautiful world that Elden Ring has to offer, that's perfectly okay. Some Dark Souls veterans might tell you to go play Hello Kitty Island Adventure instead too. But here in this video I will share just the right amount of knowledge you need to decrease the difficulty of the game enough for yourself to hit the ground running without feeling overburdened or overloaded with too much information. As a side note though, feel free to use the chapters laid out in this video to skip around if needed, but let's go ahead and start collecting some loot. To find the Meteorite staff, we must first find a cellar in the Dragon Burnt Ruins in Limgrave. In the cellar there will be a fake chest that will teleport you all the way out to an area in Khalid once you open it. Once you are teleported to the new area, just stay out of sight and continue to venture through the tunnels undetected until you reach another site of grace. Now we can leave the Celia Crystal Tunnel and head westward into the swamp on horseback until you come across the Street of Sages ruins. Keep going until you see the structure where the staff is kept on a corpse hanging from a ledge in a small room filled with poison flowers and a rune. You can always go around on the ledge on the back side to get the staff while avoiding the enemies if you need to though. This staff will likely end up being your new best friend, especially if you have a high intelligence build given that it scales with it too. You can also snag the Traveler's Armor set nearby on the other corner of the ruins, which can be worthwhile for anyone needing an upgrade to their chest armor with the Perfumer's Traveling Garb that is included with the set. Right beside of this is another section of ruins where there is a basement you can go into to obtain the Rock Sling sorcery spell, which will be that much more OP when paired with the Meteorite staff and a higher intelligence level. If you want some additional spells though, be sure to find the Waypoint Ruins where you'll find an NPC that will teach you spells in exchange for some runes. You will have to defeat the Mad Pumpkinhead boss fight to make it to the NPC, but it is well worth it, and it shouldn't give you much trouble, especially now that you have the Rock Sling spell. Once you have won the fight and talked to the NPC, I would recommend buying the Glintstone Pebble spell since it is a bit faster than the Magic Glint Blade for long range spells. In addition, I would also recommend getting the Glintstone Arc spell for crowd control if you like, as well as the Scholar's Armament spell if you plan on playing as a Spellblade build at all. However, if you find the Royal House Scroll, which is located in a structure southeast from the Agil Lake South Grace site, you can bring it back to Selene where she can then teach you the Carrion Slicer spell, which I highly recommend for the Spellblade builds out there. If you are wondering how to get to the Agil Lake South side, I will show you, especially since it is our next stop anyways to get early access to the Roundtable hold where we can buy our next memory stone. So to get there, start from the Storm Hill Shack Grace site and follow along this path that I am going through. It takes a little bit of galloping to get there, but once you rest at the site of grace here, you will be granted access to travel to the Roundtable hold going forward in the game. Now that we are at the Roundtable, be sure to find this NPC to buy the memory stone he is selling so that we can now carry an additional spell with us at all times. Another great item to collect is the Flask of Wondrous Physick, which can be found at the Third Church of Marika's Site of Grace. This handy flask can be used for numerous different types of potions later on in the game, but if nothing else can be great to use as an additional healing item for the time being. Don't forget to pick up the Sacred Tear nearby as well, since this can be used to upgrade the potency of your HP and FP flasks. To get the Lazuli Glintstone sword, we'll have to first make it to the Raya Lucaria Academy. To do so, leave from Liurnia Lakeshore and go through the King's Realm ruins, hit the elusive wall and continue to make your way up to the entrance of Caria Manor, where there is a grace site for Liurnia of the Lakes. Be careful as you progress though, as there are hidden enemies waiting to snatch you up and kill you if you're not careful where you step. But just continue to avoid all enemies and traps that you come across as you continue to go through the manor. After you hit the next site of grace, just continue on a straight path while rolling occasionally to dodge any attacks that may come your way, go up the lift, and be sure to hit the last site of grace we need before venturing farther to finally get the Glintstone sword. Stay out of sight from the wolves as you make your way up to the next big stone entrance where 3 Raya Lucaria sorcerers will be located at the bottom of the staircase with a troll. Lure each sorcerer out by using ranged attacks in order to kill them at ease without risking dying from them, but once you have killed all 3, the Lazuli Glintstone sword should be all yours. If it happens to not drop, just rest at the last site of grace and kill all 3 of them again until it does drop. One other major component to decreasing the difficulty for Elden Ring early on is to level up as much as possible before encountering those more challenging boss fights. There are many rune guides available for Elden Ring already, but from what I've seen so far, most of them tend to either require a long list of errands or to repeat the same mundane task over and over again just to get some runes. However, an easier and more fun approach that I've come across to get almost 100,000 runes early in the game just consists of 3 steps. The first being getting a gold pickled Foulfoot, the second step being obtaining the Reduvia dagger or an alternative bleed weapon of your choice, and then lastly using that weapon to slay the dragon located at Fort Ferrith. If you need some more guidance on this though, then feel free to use a short video I put together to cover everything in detail. One last thing that we can quickly do to prep ourselves for future boss fights is to find more golden seeds to help us carry even more flasks to restore our health and focus points. There are plenty of these golden seeds spread throughout Elden Ring, so if you're wanting to go on a scavenger hunt, then I recommend the following video to help you find 10 golden seeds that can be found early on in the game. Now that we have all these items and have leveled up a good bit, we can feel more at ease as we conquer our foes while exploring Elden Ring's beautiful world. Although this should definitely help you hit the ground running for a while, I know there are plenty of more great items out there ready to be looted, so be sure to like and subscribe as I'll probably do a part 2 for this video at some point in the coming weeks on top of all the other Elden Ring content to come as well. And as always, feel free to use the description below to keep in touch, but until next time, happy gaming!